Welcome back to the deep dive. You know how we operate. We take these incredibly dense strategic reports and we try to pull out the insights that you actually need.
Yeah, the ones that define the next decade for an entire industry.
Exactly. And today, we are strapping ourselves into the driver's seat for what might be one of the most ambitious roadmaps we've ever looked at.
I'd agree with that. This one comes from a high-level professional consultancy approach, and it's all about the future of the automotive industry's relationship with its customers.
And not just for the next few years, we're talking about the next 2 decades.
That's absolutely right. And this isn't just about, making the dealership experience a little better or tweaking maintenance schedule.
No, this is a blueprint for a total systemic overhaul.
It is. We are diving deep into the digital and intelligent marketing and service roadmap, which they call DIMS, all the way to 2040.
DIMS.
And the core idea here is using this massive integration of big data, AI, large models, and deep vehicle connectivity, the vehicle network, to build a completely user-centric, full lifecycle marketing and service ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's a complete reimagining.
So you're saying it's basically turning car companies into data platforms.
That's the end game.
So our mission today is pretty big. We need to unpack the strategic significance of this whole shift, why DIMS is suddenly the most important part of the company.
Right. And we'll look at the competitive landscape, where everyone is right now, globally.
Then we'll introduce this analytical tool they use, the iMMSU maturity model.
The 4-level model. Yeah, it's like an internal compass for these companies.
And then the big one. We map out the detailed 2040 vision. We're talking concrete, measurable milestones for 2030, 2035, and 2040.
So if you want the shortcut to understanding how cars are going to be defined, marketed, and serviced for the next 20 years, well, this is it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with that foundational question. Why is DIMS suddenly so critical? Why isn't it just, the marketing department?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Because traditionally, marketing and service were kind of an afterthought.
Right. They happened after the car was designed, engineered, built.
They were the last step in a long, linear production line. But this report positions DIMS as the engine of the whole thing. So why this huge, dramatic shift?
Well, the most critical pivot in this entire roadmap is the shift away from that linear value chain you just mentioned.
Where R&D throws it over the wall to production, who throws it to sales?
Exactly. That's gone. They're moving to a closed-loop evolution, and in that new model, marketing and service are no longer the final step.
So what are they?
They're identified as the prefrontal inlet for data.
Oh, I love that analogy, the prefrontal inlet, like a critical sensory system feeding intelligence right back into the brain of the company.
That's precisely it. The
Okay.
brain being R&D and production. In this new world of the software-defined, data-driven car, DIMS is the function that collects, perceives, and feeds user data back into the system.
And it has to be fast and accurate.
With speed and fidelity, yes. And that data pipeline is what drives product R&D, what allows for intelligent iteration, and what fuels the upgrades in the supply chain.
So without that feedback loop, the company's basically flying blind.
Completely deaf and blind to what its users actually need in real time. The report is very explicit. DIMS is the engine for the new automobile.
Okay.
It says it enhances product power and builds the ecosystem. It literally determines how well a company can understand its users and respond. So if that data loop fails,
The whole strategy just falls apart.
it collapses.
And this data loop, it reconstructs the whole relationship between everything in the system. They have this really dense concept, person, vehicle, customer, scene, cloud.
Right. The Who audio chain. It sounds complicated, but it's really the auto industry's version of an IoT ecosystem on steroids.
Okay, so break that down for us.
The person is the driver. The vehicle is the mobile data collector. The customer is the person who owns or subscribes to it.
Right.
Scene is the context. Is it raining? Are you in traffic? What's your emotional state? And cloud is where it's all processed.
And DIMS is the thing that orchestrates that whole chain.
Through algorithms, yeah. It creates this intelligent operation system that ensures precision targeting, quick responses, and this is the most important part, continuous rapid iteration. It's the central nervous system.
So DIMS isn't a cost center anymore. It's the core innovation driver. Let's get into the specifics of that. How does feeding data back actually change how a car gets developed?
It's what allows for that really crucial strategic shift from being product-centric to user-centric.
From building what you think they want to building what you know they want.
Exactly. The old way was focus groups, looking at what your competitors did, a process that could take years.
And by the time the product came out, the need had changed.
Right. Now, DIM uses big data, AI, large models, or AILMs, and multimodal sensing to get deep insight and, this is the key word, prejudgment of what users actually need, even the needs they can't articulate yet.
Okay, let's unpack that. How granular is this data collection? What are we actually talking about pulling from the car to send back to R&D?
It's incredibly granular, real-time behavioral data. We're talking about detailed driving habits, how often you use specific software features.
Like, do I always use the voice assistant or do I prefer the touch screen?
Precisely. Interaction preferences. And also, it models your typical misoperations.
Where you get confused or the system doesn't work how you expect.
Exactly. And on top of all that, they capture scene data, time of day, road conditions, weather, where you are. All of it builds out this massive user demand knowledge graph.
That makes sense for structured data, clicks and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned AILMs parsing non-structural data. How does an AI analyze qualitative or even emotional feedback?
This is where it gets really sophisticated. The AILMs are specifically tasked with parsing data streams that a normal database just can't handle.
Like what?
The tone of your voice commands, the hesitation in your hand gestures, the subtle patterns in your driving, like abrupt braking or frustrated steering movements.
So the AI is trying to figure out how I'm feeling.
It's quantifying your emotional needs. It's identifying moments of frustration, confusion, or even delight. And that analyzed, quantified feedback gets turned into a structured R&D prioritization matrix.
They're literally turning feelings into feature deployment schedules.
That's the idea.
That is a massive leap in speed and relevance. The car gets smarter because it's measuring our happiness, not just our mileage. But the data doesn't stop at R&D, does it? How does it help make production more agile?
It's critical for enabling personalization and flexible production. The data from marketing leads, from actual orders, from service use, it all feeds directly back into the production system.
Creating that closed loop.
Exactly. From user demand straight through to dynamically scheduling the production plan, this is what lets the industry move towards small batches, multiple product categories, and a really fast response time.
So let's say the data shows that buyers in, California are way more likely to want a specific battery and interior combo than they first thought.
The factory can dynamically adjust component purchasing and assembly line sequencing basically in real time.
Reducing waste and wait times.
Precisely. The report talks about using AILMs that are centered on order forecast data. This AI looks at user leads, dealer inventory, even market sentiment from social media.
Wow.
And it builds a dynamic optimization model for the production plan. It optimizes order matching, minimizes inventory risk, and boosts capacity utilization.
A self-optimizing factory driven by the customer's digital heartbeat.
That's a good way to put it.
So that sets the stage.
Correct.
And the roadmap structures its whole strategy around these three big research dimensions that have to be solved together.
Yeah.
What are they?
Right. To make this all work, companies have to get three things right at the same time.
Okay.
First is R&D production sales service integration. That's the internal challenge of breaking down all those old departmental silos.
Making the data flow.
Second is the marketing service model upgrade. This is about turning marketing from a transaction into a relationship. It has to be data-driven, precise, and lead to proactive service.
And the third.
User service operation iteration. This one's about continuous evolution, building new user operation models, expanding the ecosystem into things like subscriptions, finance, insurance, shared mobility.
So it's a full stack transformation. You have to change your internal IT, your external customer engagement, and your business partner networks all at once.
Okay, so we know the destination is this dim as 2040 vision, but where is the industry right now? The report gives a pretty interesting comparison between the big global players and the fast-moving domestic challengers.
Yeah, the competitive analysis is really insightful. It shows where the different strengths are.
Let's start with the international leaders. Your Teslas, the big German legacy brands, the Japanese giants. What are their core advantages in this new DIMS world?
Their main strength is in platformization and deep data integration. They're heavily focused on robust software platforms, established data closed loops, and expanding subscription services.
The vehicle user service trinity, as the report called it. Exactly. Their expertise is in high-integrity user data integration and feeding that R&D collaboration back into their very sophisticated production systems. They're really good at closing that loop.
From user need to product definition, to manufacturing and service.
They're pioneering that integrated, software-defined vehicle approach at a massive scale.
So on the flip side, where are the domestic host manufacturers, especially the new energy vehicle or NEV companies, finding their edge?
The domestic players often have a younger tech stack and can adapt to new regulations faster, so they excel at the rapid digitization of customer touchpoints.
The front-end
The
experience.
front end, yeah.
Yeah.
A radical remodeling of their user operation systems, and really fast deployment of service intelligence. They show much greater flexibility in touchpoint density, the richness of application scenarios.
And they're faster at rolling out new tech like AIGC.
Much faster. They're just better at that immediate, visible digital interaction with the customer.
Okay, so they're quick and flexible on the front end.
Yeah.
But what are their systemic weaknesses? Where are the gaps?
The gaps are mostly in achieving that deep internal closed loop. The main areas for improvement are deeper user data integration.
So connecting the service and marketing data all the way back to R&D.
Right. And getting better R&D and production collaborative loops and building more robust, truly platformized service systems. They need to move from just tactical digital wins to true systemic coordination.
Moving from that level 1 or 2 maturity to the systemic intelligence of level 3 and 4.
Exactly.
So this whole industry evolution is massive. And the report boils it down to 3 core trends driving the transformation.
Yeah, it's a shift from local optimization to system collaboration.
From tool-driven to intelligent decision-making.
And from passive response to proactive prejudgment. Those 3 shifts define the whole thing.
So let's get into the implementation details for each of those. First one, full chain intelligent collaboration. How do you actually build the structure for that real-time data flow?
To do this, you basically have to tear down the traditional IT structure, and you replace it with 2 major technical pillars. First is the unified domain data middle platform. This is your single source of truth. It makes sure data is consistent and can flow across all those previously siloed departments, R&D, production, marketing, all of them.
And the second pillar.
You have to create an intelligent agent collaboration network that's powered by AI LMs. These agents are sophisticated bits of software, like AI supervisors, that coordinate resources across departments in real time.
And the data itself becomes a product. The report mentions data monetization strategies.
It does. This is where the company really becomes a data operator. The data is assetized. They can develop services like blockchain-based supply chain finance.
How does that work?
The blockchain provides a trusted, unchangeable record of transactions and performance for everyone in the supply chain. This supports dynamic, algorithmic credit ratings for suppliers, which speeds up cash flow and reduces risk.
What about selling the user data directly?
That happens through data trading systems. But, and this is important, it uses rigorous anonymization and privacy-preserving tech. So they sell aggregate data assets.
Like charging behavior patterns to an energy company.
Or navigation preferences to city planners, yeah.
Yeah.
It unlocks the commercial value of the data while protecting user privacy.
So that's trend 1. Internal coordination, external monetization. Trend 2 is scenario-based precision marketing.
Yeah.
Moving from just getting traffic to owning mindshare.
Right. And this is powered by generative AI. It creates this tight, closed loop. Real-time user identification, automatic content generation, precise touchpoint matching, real-time conversion optimization.
So the personalization goes way beyond just putting my name in an email. It's instantaneous and context-driven.
Absolutely. To make it work, you need 2 key tools. First, a dynamic user persona engine.
Okay.
It takes in-car sensor data, external environment data, and your past behavior to build these real-time scene tags that are constantly updating. The system stops seeing you as just customer 101.
It sees me as a driver in stressful traffic who might need a new route suggestion.
And maybe a calming playlist suggestion, too.
And the content itself.
That comes from the generative AI content factory. It doesn't just make 5 ads. It makes thousands of variations, dynamically adjusting the tone, the image, the call to action based on that precise, real-time persona.
The report also mentions some really forward-looking stuff, almost Web 3.0 concepts, like user data rights.
It does. It explores things like federated data across enterprises, which uses privacy computing.
So a car company and, say, a navigation app could model user behavior together without either of them ever sharing the raw user data with the other.
Exactly. And it also brings in the idea of user data rights return. The user manages their own data permissions through a digital wallet.
And in exchange for contributing their data, they get something back.
They get service rights or value exchange credits. It's an attempt to legitimize the data economy by giving users a direct stake in it.
Fascinating. Okay, trend 3. Autonomous full lifecycle service. This is the zero-friction experience.
This is the big one, evolving from standardized reactive repairs to hyper-personalized, intelligent, proactive service. The system needs to know what you need before you do.
So what are the key technologies to make that happen?
You need three major systems. First, a sophisticated predictive maintenance system. It uses vehicle sensor data to train models that can calculate the failure risks of a specific component based on your specific use history.
So it tells you to get something fixed weeks before it actually breaks.
Right. Second, the business model itself has to be flexible. You need an upgraded subscription service engine.
So dynamic pricing.
Dynamic pricing, usage-based tiers, billing based on mileage or features you activate, ultra-flexible models to maximize personalization and profit.
And the last piece is an AI actually managing the service request.
Yes. You need to deploy digital twin service assistants for every single car, a high-fidelity virtual copy that simulates wear and tear.
And then?
And then, an automated service orchestration engine. This AI parses your request, links it to the after-sales schedule, the supply chain, and any third-party providers, and builds an automated end-to-end service response.
Moving from a human answering the phone to fully automated service monetization.
So, to manage this huge, complex transition, the report uses this structured framework, the iMMSU maturity model.
Intelligent marketing and sales in users operation.
Exactly. And it's basically a 4-level compass that companies can use to benchmark where they are now and figure out where they need to go to hit that 2040 vision.
And this is so crucial, right? Because you can't just jump from a traditional factory to a fully autonomous data company overnight.
No, you can't skip the steps.
So let's walk through these 4 levels. We'll start at the bottom, which is where a lot of the legacy players are probably sitting right now.
We start at the foundation, iMMSU 1, process digitalization.
So basically, turning paper forms into digital ones.
That's a great way to put it. The basic digital platform is there, but things are only optimized locally. Product definition is still based on traditional market research and looking at competitors.
It's not driven by internal usage data yet.
Not yet. And service is mostly passive. Remote diagnosis, showing you some raw data, and offering limited services that you have to ask for. The processes are electronic, but the thinking is still analog.
Okay, that makes sense. You've changed the tool, but not the logic. So what's the jump to the next level?
The jump to iMMSU 2. Local intelligence and data empowerment is all about data starting to actually flow.
The silos start to crack.
Exactly. Internal data starts moving between departments, which lets them try data-driven product design for the first time. AI gets introduced, but only in specific, localized scenes.
Like a really good chatbot.
Or some early AIGC for ad templates, yeah.
Yeah.
The service ecosystem starts to integrate, moving toward active service like maintenance reminders or charging recommendations, driven by some basic algorithms.
So level 2 is tactical AI and data just beginning to cross departmental lines. Level 3 must be the big strategic jump done.
It is. That's iMMSU 3, systemic closed loop and preliminary intelligence. This is where the company really starts to achieve strategic coherence. The preliminary closed loop of internal and external data is up and running.
And the product design models start their own self-iteration.
Critically, yes.
Yeah.
The AI models are now adjusting R&D priorities based on real-time data. Marketing achieves preliminary all-scenario intelligence. The whole data ecosystem platform is forming.
And what about service at level 3?
The service knowledge bases get an intelligent upgrade with AI LMs. They move beyond being a simple FAQ. This allows them to provide true personalized assistance, not just reactive chatbots.
So they're actively predicting what you need instead of just reacting to a fault code.
Precisely. They're predicting solutions.
Okay, and that brings us to the top. The pinnacle. iMSU 4, full intelligence and autonomous evolution.
This is the 2040 vision made real. You have complete internal and external data integration and open application across the whole ecosystem.
The product models are fully self-iterating.
Evolving based on real-time market use with minimal human intervention, yeah. The marketing and service systems are completely rebuilt to be all scenario intelligent and predictive.
So what does it actually feel like for the user at this ultimate level?
It's defined by the personalized service intelligent agent. Every single customer gets a 100% personalized agent that provides comprehensive services across their mobility and their entire digital life.
So the car just manages its own life cycle. Maintenance, charging, insurance,
All of it, with zero required intervention from the user. The enterprise fully becomes a digital life platform operator.
What's so fascinating about this roadmap is how specific and ambitious the targets are. So what's the single overarching vision that guides this whole timeline?
The 2040 vision is that complete transformation of the business model. It's about building an intelligent service ecosystem driven by data and AI and achieving full product lifecycle self-evolution.
The ultimate goal being that closed loop of data self-collection, decision self-driving, and service self-evolution.
Exactly. The transition is from service provider, fixing things, to a digital life platform operator.
Let's break down that journey with the actual milestones, starting with the near-term phase out to 2030.
Okay, so the 2030 goal is foundational. It's to achieve precise user touch and establish a working proactive service system. This means getting about 50% of enterprises to that iMMSU2 level of maturity.
And what are the specific measurable goals that show they're at that level?
The big one is in R&D. 50% or more of the data needed for new product planning has to be self-collected from their own in-car systems.
So they're building their own intelligence base, not just buying reports.
Right. In the service chain, AI usage has to hit 50% in customer interaction and scheduling. Marketing needs a 70% data self-collection rate.
And the real test for integration.
30% of vehicles must support flexible, order-based production.
That 30% flexible production number is the first big proof point that this DIMS data loop is actually driving the factory floor. Okay, what about the midterm, 2035?
By 2035, the industry has to pivot to deep AI application. This means forming brand-exclusive intelligent agent clusters. These are like sophisticated, domain-specific AI teams.
And establishing that comprehensive proactive service system.
Right. The target is 20% of companies hitting iMMSU3, with another 20% starting to explore iMMSU4. This is the inflection point where AI becomes central to how decisions are made.
So what are the quantified markers for that deep AI application?
Data acquisition has to be nearly total. The marketing data self-collection rate jumps to over 90%. AI's role in customer interaction explodes.
Oh, so.
A 50% AI robot user communication ratio, so half of all first-line contact, is with an AI, and a 30% AI sales customer service utilization rate.
And 2035 is also when we start seeing the first unmanned intelligent delivery and collection vehicles on the road.
In designated zones, yeah, with new regulations to support them.
That AI communication target really shows how dependent the customer experience becomes on this intelligent agent idea. Okay, finally, the long-term vision for 2040. Full autonomy.
The 2040 target is the full realization of autonomous service and personalized marketing, all driven by these AI intelligent agents. By then, 40% of the leading companies are expected to hit iMMSU4.
Which fundamentally changes what an automotive corporation even is. So what does that look like statistically?
You reach 100% user full lifecycle touchpoint coverage. The system is aware of the user and the vehicle at all times, in every context.
AI sales utilization hits 50%.
Production flexibility surges to 80% of vehicles supporting order-based production. But the most defining metric is that 100% personalized user-exclusive service intelligent agent.
Every single user has a unique AI dedicated to them.
Right.
So let's deep dive into what those 2040 goals really imply. For R&D, they talk about millisecond response speed on market feedback. What does an organization that can do that even look like?
It's the death of the traditional product cycle. Product planning solutions have to automatically verify market feedback using these complex models with near-instant response times.
Milliseconds.
Milliseconds. This allows for fully automated validation for cost, for sales forecasts, for pricing strategy. They're aiming for quarterly model self-iteration using AI and even quantum computing to manage the complexity.
A millisecond response means the lag between a market shift and a production change is basically zero. That's hyper-agility.
It is. For marketing, it becomes personalized, one-on-one strategy, auto-distributed. Your mass marketing team is obsolete, replaced by an AI managing millions of unique communication streams.
And for service.
The whole thing is an intelligent network with AI agents as the interface. Vehicles achieve complete intelligent self-maintenance, self-diagnosis, self-appointment. It drives itself to the service bay and self-maintenance with over-the-air updates.
It moves from automatically triggered service to autonomous global resource scheduling. This is where we get to the how. The roadmap breaks down the transformation across 4 pillars: technology, process, system, and ecosystem. We need to look at all four to see how they'll hit these targets.
Exactly. Let's start with the foundation, the R&D production integration. It's all about internal synchronization. So the 2035 goal here is achieving that dynamic iteration of the full product lifecycle, real-time data flow across departments that historically never talk to each other.
So what are the key technologies needed to make that happen?
By 2035, the main drivers are digital twin technology to build a high-fidelity digital model of the product's entire life cycle.
Simulating every possible scenario.
Right. And you also need federated learning to enable secure cross-enterprise data sharing. So R&D centers in different countries can collaborate on a model without sharing the raw, sensitive data.
And looking out to the ultimate 2040 targets, how do they handle that level of complexity and speed?
To manage the sheer scale of the decision-making, optimizing millions of user data points against thousands of product variables in milliseconds, the roadmap points to quantum computing.
For processing these ultra-large, hyper-complex data sets.
Exactly. And at the process level, autonomous AI agents take over, completing demand forecasting and iterative modeling with minimal human oversight.
Let's focus on the P and the S there. What's the process change, and what's the system that has to support it?
The process has to shift to unmanned intervention in full lifecycle management. The system has to be able to self-perceive demand shifts, self-execute the necessary changes, and self-optimize the deployment.
And the system.
The system is a unified digital lifecycle management platform that integrates the output of that quantum AI decision engine directly into the supply chain.
And the 2040 ecosystem for this.
The enterprise becomes a data ecosystem operator. This is supported by user data assetization, enabling a two-way value exchange, often managed by blockchain smart contracts for transparency. It's about leading an open co-creation ecosystem where users and third-party devs participate in design.
Okay, this dimension is about mind share occupation. The 2035 goal is real-time, scenario-based marketing, and demand prejudgment. How does the system get so precise?
By 2035, the linchpin is vehicle cloud collaboration. The vehicle's edge computing processes local sensor data and syncs it with the cloud's big model for strategic decisions.
And we also see the maturation of VR and AR for pre-sales experiences.
Oh.
But let's talk about the big 2040 tech targets here. The roadmap lists two that are really futuristic: metaverse, digital space, and brain-computer interface, or BCI. Let's start with the metaverse.
By 2040, the metaverse is expected to be mature enough for persistent, hyper-realistic virtual test drives and customization.
So not just a website configurator, but a social space where you can interact with your car before it's even built.
And collaborate on its design. Yeah.
Okay, now for the most provocative one, brain-computer interface technology. It's listed as the ultimate 2040 capability for marketing, BCI for marketing. That sounds like science fiction.
It is ambitious. The roadmap sees BCI as the ultimate tool for frictionless user insight. The explicit goal is to perceive user demand, monitor emotions, and get feedback directly from the user's neural data.
So instead of guessing I'm frustrated from my voice, the system just knows.
That's the idea. They call it neural data-driven information acquisition. It allows the system to generate the most appropriate, personalized, and empathetic response.
So what's the process required for that level of personalization?
The process for 2040 has to be a fully automated closed loop. User co-creation content, intelligent distribution affect feedback. Humans only set the high-level strategy. The system does the rest.
And the system that supports BCI-driven marketing.
It requires a highly sophisticated neural marketing platform. It has to be global, multilingual, multicultural, and self-adaptive to local norms and individual emotional states. The AI becomes a globally aware, creative director.
The ecosystem for this mindshare marketing would have to be huge.
It leads to a metaverse economic alliance and an open neuromarketing platform. These alliances would standardize data protocols and, very importantly, ethical guidelines. Okay, moving to service. The 2035 goal is to establish a predictive service network driven by AI, the AI butler experience.
And a 50% efficiency improvement. We know digital twins are key for that.
Right.
What other tech is needed for service autonomy by 2035?
Beyond the digital trend, you need widespread edge computing. This is critical for localized, real-time decisions.
So if the car detects an imminent failure, it can make an immediate safety decision without waiting for the cloud.
Right. It can schedule local service on its own, improving accident response and service execution.
And the ultimate 2040 goal integrates L4 and L5 autonomous driving directly into the service process itself.
Absolutely. By 2040, L4 and L5 capabilities enable true autonomous maintenance. The vehicle doesn't just diagnose itself, it can legally and safely drive itself to the service center.
It goes from automatically triggering a service to autonomously executing it.
Exactly.
Let's detail the 2040 process for that.
It's a completely automated, zero-intervention closed-loop vehicle self-diagnosis, global resource scheduling, service execution, data return.
So the car identifies a need, checks inventory, orders a part, coordinates an unmanned service vehicle, and meets it for the repair.
All without you lifting a finger or making a single phone call.
That requires a massive, complex system.
It requires a unified, full lifecycle service operating system. It uses the digital twin and the AI agent cluster to manage all resources, physical and digital.
And the ecosystem for this must be enormous.
It culminates in a global service alliance that integrates mobility, energy grids, insurance firms, even city infrastructure. Open platforms let third parties co-create service modules, ensuring the vehicle completes its entire life cycle with zero intervention.
We talked about shared mobility earlier. How does the roadmap see that service evolving?
Shared mobility becomes the cornerstone of smart city infrastructure.
Okay.
By 2030, the goal is L4 autonomous driving supporting 80% unmanned operation for shared fleets.
By 2035.
L5 autonomous driving has 100% unmanned operation. And critically, they introduce AI-driven, human-like robots to automatically clean and maintain the fleet. And you get full integration with smart city systems.
And by 2040,
Shared cars are no longer just a service. They become core urban infrastructure, deeply integrating commuting, tourism, logistics, and business to create a zero-boundary, zero-waiting mobility experience. Hashtag #outro.
this has been a monumental deep dive. If we just zoom out for a second, what does all this mean for us? For the people who actually use these vehicles? It seems the future of automotive competition isn't about the hardware at all.
Not about the engine, the battery, or even the sensors.
It's all about the quality, the speed, and the intelligence of that proprietary data feedback loop. The whole business model is being inverted.
That is the core, non-negotiable takeaway. The strategic imperative is clear. You have to transition from a manufacturing-oriented model to an intelligent, service-oriented model.
Where the service ecosystem and the data platform are the product.
Exactly. And success requires a revolution in culture and strategy, all driven by those three shifts. From tool-driven to intelligent decision-making, from passive response to proactive prejudgment, and from local optimization to system collaboration.
The DIMIS roadmap is the blueprint for that transformation. It redefined what an automotive company even is. By 2040, it's a data operator, a digital life platform operator, and a data ecosystem operator.
Indeed, the competitive advantage lies entirely in that proprietary knowledge graph you build from user interaction.
The data from marketing and service interactions becomes the most valuable IP.
More valuable than the traditional R&D investment, for sure. The vehicle is just the best possible device for collecting highly valuable, personalized data.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to think about. If the ultimate 2040 goal involves brain-computer interfaces to perceive our emotional needs, a fully self-maintaining car, and a 100% personalized, intelligent agent that manages our entire digital and physical life.
Across mobility, energy, and leisure.
Will we still own a car in the traditional sense, or will we just be subscribing to a hyper-personalized mobility intelligence that manages the physical asset for us, giving us access to its capabilities without the burden of ownership?
What does ownership even mean when the car is truly autonomous, inseparable from your life platform, and its core value is the data it generates about you?
That zero-intervention future is closer than you think.